Hey everyone, welcome back to Dev Parkour. I'm Brian Parks. So, a few months ago, I posted on LinkedIn about how I hear companies complaining that they can't find good engineers. Yet I also see nearly every recent bootcamp grad spend as long as a year sending hundreds of resumes and getting ghosted by most of the companies they apply to before finally landing just a job, just any job. And I feel like there's a huge disconnect here that I really think we owe it to our industry and at least our companies to fix. So I want to dive into that a little bit in this video. So on that LinkedIn post, several commenters noticed that noted that companies typically aren't just looking for any developer. They're looking for the right developer with certain qualifications, and for many companies, that means a very specific set of skills, a very specific background, and depending on the job, that may or may not actually make sense. But the problem with that is that most bootcamp grads, don't have those skills, those qualifications, and especially that length of time in the industry. So there's a disconnect. Employers are looking for rock star devs, but most of the devs looking for jobs aren't rock stars yet. And that yet is key because they're rock stars in the making. Um, Now, it is 2021, and that statement might be a little bit inaccurate because there are so many people who have stable jobs, who have been working for companies for years and years and years, who are also looking. So there are a lot of people who are looking that do have, you know, 5, 10, 15 plus years of development experience. But when we're talking about boot camp grads, most of them, you know, the boot camp might be their only background in software engineering. They might not have been writing code prior to going through a boot camp. That said, I have met plenty of boot camp grads who wrote code on the side and then did a boot camp and now are officially, software engineers. So that's cool too, and that might help. But by and large, the situation we run into is that the bootcamp grads learned a specific stack and a specific set of skills in the bootcamp, and probably only spent 3 months doing it. Whereas the companies hiring are looking for a mid-level or senior engineer, maybe in the same stack, but at least with more experience and possibly with completely different qualifications. You're probably not going to find a C++ developer straight out of a boot camp just because most boot camps don't do those sorts of topics. So why is this a problem? It's not because the rock stars aren't better in some way. They absolutely are. Like I said, that they fit the qualifications and the skills that a company is looking for. It's just that there are far fewer of them than there are jobs looking for them, and in some cases they're even out of companies' budgets. It's a big deal this year that Colorado started requiring salaries to be listed on job postings, and what that really is showing, especially when the ranges are reasonable, what that's really showing is that there are some companies who are willing to pay very fair compensation for senior software engineers, mid-level software engineers, and some companies just don't have the budget or don't have the desire to pay what the market uh, it has determined is the the going rate, the market rate for software engineers. Um, and there's a disconnect there too. Company might want a rock star dev who's experienced in C++, but if they're only willing to pay $80,000, that's going to be a tough sell. You might not be able to find the person that you're looking for. That person might not exist. Uh, yeah, so why shouldn't you be looking to hire the senior software engineer with 10 years of experience in your stack and your domain who will work for 100 grand? Because they don't exist. They probably don't exist. And even if they do, you might end up spending lots of money interviewing lots of other people while that person that you're looking for isn't looking for the job, right? Because lots of people who have very specialized skills already have jobs and are very happy in those jobs because they can command that sort of salary, respect, and that sort of thing. And they're really not looking to change jobs necessarily to move up the ladder or anything like that. They only look to change jobs when they're unhappy with their current one, or they feel it's time for a change in their career. Or, if you give them a really good offer, an offer that's, that they can't refuse, and actually go and seek them out. But if you're just posting a job on a job board and expecting people to find you, probably not going to happen, especially if you're looking for those highly specialized areas. So this doesn't mean that you should settle for someone who's wrong for the job either. It just means you have to focus on a different and arguably more important aspect of what right is. So the big disconnect is, if we boil all this down to what we're really talking about, the big disconnect is that we're looking for senior level talent, but the only thing that's available, or the most prevalent thing that's available, is junior level talent, right? And as we find people that are higher up in the talent ladder, they're going to be more choosy about where they want to go. That's good. I don't blame them for that. And I don't mean to say that people who are lower on the talent ladder are just going to get the job that they can get. But the fact that there are more people lower on the talent ladder means that you're more likely to be able to find someone who is a cultural and visionary match for your company. And that's really what I think is important to focus on. When we think about who we want to hire, we should be looking for people who, yes, can do the job, but that also we could see ourselves working with on a daily basis, has the same values that we do, and can readily understand why we exist as a business and what we're pursuing in order to get there. So that's really that cultural match, that cultural fit. And then once you have that cultural fit, work to grow and expand and improve that person's skills. So go first for, is this person interested in what we're doing, and then worry about, are they as productive as some of our other engineers, and can we get to them to that level? Because in my experience, I see a lot more valuable work come out of someone who might work slower than other people on the team, but is really passionate about what we're doing as a company, as opposed to people who really don't care about what we're doing but can churn out code really fast. Now, in order to be able to hire for those aspects, that means we need to be able to communicate it and evaluate it, and in some cases we need to know what it is. And I think that's a struggle for many companies, especially companies that have been around for a while, right? When your company's been around for only a few years, pretty much every conversation you're having to get customers, to get funding, to get employees, is about the vision of the company. So you're talking about it day in and day out, and you know exactly what it is that wakes you up in the morning, that gets you to go into work and be excited about what you're doing. So I think that's less of an issue for some of these younger companies. But for older companies, you don't have that. It's been a long time since those days, so you might not be thinking about what your vision is, what your values are, and what that does for you to get you up in the morning every day. So that makes it even harder when you meet a candidate and you're trying to determine, do they get it? Do they understand what we're about? Are they a culture fit for our company? You might have a rubric where or a checklist where if they check these boxes, you say, yes, they're a good fit. But does that really make sense? I think that's really where the disconnect is. Yes, there's a skills disconnect, and we need to work on training and having a pathway so that juniors can become mid-levels and mid-levels can become seniors, and the mid-levels can be workhorses for the company and really churn out a lot of code, and the seniors can be visionary and really see the overall architecture. And if your company has levels beyond senior, at those levels they can start to have more of an influence across the company, not just within engineering, and potentially in the industry as a whole. And that's really cool. But your first priority is sourcing good talent, at least good talent potential, and turning that into productive engineering. Um, so that's one disconnect. And the other disconnect is we really need to think long and hard about what it means for our company to exist and why people should want to come work for us, and what it means, what it looks like for me or you to feel good about working with someone. What attributes of another person makes you want to go into work every day and say, yes, I want to work with that person. Um, so that's kind of my thoughts on the matter. If you have any other thoughts, opinions that you want to share, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Like this video if you found it insightful, interesting, and be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell. As I mentioned earlier this week, starting next week, I'm going to be doing a bigger project, which I'm really excited about. I almost can't contain myself. I've been doing lots of research on it this past week and getting all prepared for it. So Monday, you'll see what that's all about. And I'm just giddy. I hope you'll be as excited about it as I am. It's taking every fiber of my being not to share what it is right now, but it'll be that much more impactful when I share on Monday. So hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.